We need to talk about Schecter Guitars. So this brand is without a doubt the most surprising brand of guitars that I've reviewed here on my channel. I've been consistently blown away by their quality control, by the fit and finish of the instruments, and the tone and playability of all of the guitars. All across the price point, from something as cheap as a $250, $300 guitar, all the way up to something that's more like around $1,400, $1,500. I've been very surprised by how consistent they all have been. The first Schecter that I came across was a Keith Merrow 7-string guitar, and I'll do the little link above if you'd like to check out my review, and was absolutely blown away by how good this guitar sounded. It was a more expensive model, so it should be good as well. Anything that's over $1,000 in my opinion should really be basically a professional quality instrument, and this one really nailed it. The fretwork was fantastic, the overall build quality was great, the tone woods were very solid as well, and I really liked how it was designed and focused for metal, for Keith Merrow and what he does, and by the neck profile and everything that went into how this guitar was put together, it really delivered all across the board. The next one that I reviewed was a CR6, which is a much more budget instrument. These are ones that you could find for, I believe, around $300, $400 used. A pretty good price for a guitar that I found to be a little bit of a cut better than most brands at that price point. It also played great, and even beyond that, I just thought cosmetically it was a great looking instrument. The top made it look like something far more premium than it really was, and I thought it recorded pretty well too. The most recent Schecter that I've reviewed is the Reaper 6, which I'll put a link here to that full review. That guitar absolutely blew me away. It recorded incredibly well, played great, couldn't believe how good it mixed. It's without a doubt my pick for the best budget metal focused instrument. Again, the fit and finish was perfect. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Just so unbelievably well made, and like the CR6, the top was just beautiful. I mean, it just looked like something that should have cost double what it actually did, and this guitar was just so focused for great metal tones. I think it speaks for itself. So across the run of all of the guitars, the cosmetics were absolutely impeccable. There was no silly little things like on the Sterling guitars that I reviewed where the tuner is mounted slightly crooked. There was nothing dumb like the Charvel Pro Mod that I reviewed or the Leggett or Ninja that I reviewed, which were among two of the worst instruments that I've ever come across. The Charvel, the neck was very crooked in its neck pocket, and the Leggetter had a huge gap between the back of the neck and the body. Not the case on any of these Schecter guitars. It was just absolutely perfect, impeccable build quality. So now that we're about halfway through this video, if you like it, hit like and subscribe. That helps the algorithm shine on my teeny little channel, and I greatly appreciate it. If you disagree with me and you think I'm an idiot, let me know down below. Here at Minor Error is the creative home for everything that I do in music, which is original progressive metal music, in-depth guitar reviews, production tips and tricks, and some guitar lessons. I also have all of my music available to check out on playlists. I'll put links kind of scattered throughout wherever, as well as it's all available on Spotify and iTunes. Links are in the doobly-doo if you'd like to check that out and support me, and I'd greatly appreciate it. I'd have to say the only disappointment or negative with the Schecters is that the ones that I all reviewed didn't come with any sort of a case. And I know that's not like a huge deal, but even on a little bit more of the expensive models, like the Keith Merrow 7-string, That's an above $1,000 guitar. For it to not show up with some sort of a case is a disappointment to me. Even the Sterling by Music Man Richardson that I reviewed came with a pretty decent soft shell case, actually. It had a decent amount of padding, and in my opinion, I just think some sort of a gig bag should come along with a guitar as a bare minimum. I also don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying if you buy that CR6 that you're getting an instrument that just, sounds like a $2,000 guitar. It just performs a little bit better than other brands that I've reviewed. It also seems to be more reliable. The hardware seems to be just that little bit better with a little bit better attention to detail. If you're pouring your hard-earned money into something, you want to get something that is gonna actually be worthy of your cash and be an investment that will last years, where you're not going to end up having to turn around and either constantly be taking it to the local guitar shop because it's fallen apart, or just unhappy with how it plays. Nothing is worse than having to fight an instrument, especially when it comes to electric guitar and trying to do something maybe more technical, whether you're working on your alternate picking or you're sweeping. If you've got a guitar that won't stay in tune, or you got a guitar where the fretwork sucks, it just makes fighting with it so much harder than it should be. And I've been really, really happy with the performance of all of the guitars. But obviously, set your expectations accordingly though to what level instrument that you're buying. And lastly, if you're looking at a high-end guitar and actually want to spend a decent amount of money, yes, Schecters will get up there. They can get above $2,000 and they can get pretty expensive. My opinion though is if you're spending money on a high-end guitar, any guitar manufacturer is going to make you a nice instrument. Whether it's a Washburn, or whether it's a Schecter, or whether it's a Music Man, they're all great instruments. What really interests me is actually that low-end to intermediate level instrument, because that's what's attainable for most people. So my favorite question is, what gives you the best bang for buck? And in my opinion, Schecter is one of the best brands to check out. You're going to get a reliable instrument that you're going to love, that will last you long enough as you grow as a musician and a guitar player, and it's even good enough to gig and be reliable and not be worried about it going out of tune in between every other song. And kind of looking around on the used market, it kind of seems like most of this low-end to intermediate level Schecter stuff doesn't really hold its value great. That makes it a great deal on the used market. So I would recommend, unless you're going out and buying a premium model, just look to the used market for one, because you're going to save yourself a ton of money, and maybe with that money that you save, you then go buy a pickup upgrade and really kick the guitar up a huge notch.